Hello, everyone. I'm your director, David Camp, and today we're going to be talking about my crazy neighbor who almost got arrested. So, how about I shut up and we get right into it? So, for those of you who don't know, I have this crazy neighbor right next to me who, basically has been complaining about our dogs, threatened to kill our dogs, and has inappropriately, well, not like talked inappropriately, but has talked to my sister and yelled at her and cursed her out, and has cussed me out, and has basically cussed my whole family out. So, that's basically all you need to know. He hates our dogs, he hates us, and we don't very much like him. We've called the cops on him several times. Go watch the other videos if you want to find that out. I'm not going to recite it all in this one. So let me start from the beginning of his strange things that he's been doing. One night my break day was the next day, Monday, and I was basically just playing games, doing what I do, up till 2 o'clock in the morning. I know, I stay up late playing video games. Shocker. And my mom comes into my room and tells me that I need to go watch the dogs real quick because they had to use the restroom because we don't want them using the restroom of the house. So we let the dogs out, and they're not barking. And then all of a sudden, the neighbor lets this little black puppy out to wander around his front yard. He has no gate, by the way. That dog can get out into the street, and our dogs go insane, along with every other dog on the block. That's not our fault, because dogs are going to bark, and I tried to quiet them, but they didn't, stay quiet. And so the neighbor comes out, and it turns out he was rather shocked to see me because he was heading towards our gate, and he looks up and he sees me standing on our porch, and he's pretty surprised and stares at me for a full 2 minutes before heading back inside his house. And usually I'll just glare at him or I'll roll my eyes or turn my back to him, but this night was a little weird because he was surprised to see me this time. So I go ahead and I head back inside the house. I tell my mom, I tell my father, and I tell my sister. My sister was still awake. She was also playing games, and my mom was just heading back to bed, and my dad had just gotten up to use the restroom. So I tell him, he's not happy about it, and we get the dogs back inside. And that was basically the first occurrence. That was pretty creepy. Second occurrence is right after this. For an entire week, he watched me as I left my house and I came back to the house. Every time I went through that gate to go on a walk over to my cousin's, or anytime I came back from like Dollar General or something, he would watch me as I left and I entered. And he would purposefully open the curtain and watch me through his window. And then as I came back, he watched me come back into the gate. Which is kind of creepy because this is the only time he's done this, and it's a little weird because it was right after I caught him that night. And now I've got you caught up to what happened the other day. So basically what happened the other night is what I meant to say is I was cleaning up outside our house, and I was also trying to get our dogs to, hush. And they were barking at the neighbor because he had a couple people over, and, I made sure to watch the dogs while I cleaned up. Dogs wouldn't shut up because, the neighbor had people pretty close to the gate, and how am I supposed to shut up the dogs? So I just kind of kept the dogs calm. They kept barking. Didn't really matter. You can't change what dogs are. And so I kept cleaning up, and as soon as all the people left, the neighbor looked at me and started trying to talk to me. And this is where I had it, and I called my dad, and I yelled to my dad, "Hey, Dad, the neighbor wants to talk to you." And so my dad came out and asked him what, and all of a sudden, the neighbor shuts up, and he's just quiet, nothing else to say. And my dad, wants to know what this neighbor was trying to tell me, because he's not supposed to be talking to me, because, I'm not actually, 18 or anything. So he's not supposed to be talking to me, and I don't want to talk to him. If he has to talk to anyone, he's going to talk to my dad. And so my dad's like, you don't talk to my kids, you talk to me. You talk to the head of the household. And so the neighbor's just quiet, and then my dad's like, my son said that you wanted to talk to me, so what did you want to talk about? So the neighbor finally says something and says, well, then your son told you wrong. And so, then my mom comes out, then my sister comes out, and there's a point where people's patience runs out, and this is about the point where every one of our family members ran out of patience. And my mom dug into this man. My dad dug into this man. My sister piped up and dug into this man. And you know what? I joined in on the fun and I dug into him, telling him we got cameras in the front yard. We got cameras in the backyard and our side yards. We have cameras everywhere because we've had other occurrences that I haven't gotten into yet, but I plan to get into in the future. But basically, he's had it with all this barrage, and my dad has called the cops because we've had it with him. We called the cops on him because he's talking to a minor. He's threatened me before, he's threatened my sister before, and he's threatened my mother before, and we've had it. We called the cops, and the cops came down, and we basically gave the cop the same story I just gave you guys in this video. And now onto recent events that actually happened yesterday. Yesterday, my dad was in the living room and he was playing on his phone, and I had just woken up. It was about 10 or 12. I slept in late because I stayed up late. And it's 10 or 12, and my dad hears somebody entering the gate. And we didn't invite anyone over, so my dad goes out there and screams, "Hey," because we didn't invite anyone over. There's no reason for this person to be entering the gate. And it was a lady who asked for my dad's phone, and my dad wanted to know why, and so she said that she wants to call her mom. And my dad noticed something. She was bleeding from, I think it was the nose or the mouth. I don't remember. But she was bleeding, and my dad wanted to know why, and she refused to say. And so, finally, after my dad, was persistent, she said that the neighbor had hit her. And she was his girlfriend, and the neighbor had hit her. And so that's where my dad is like, okay, I'm going to go get my phone. I'm going to call the cops. And so my dad calls the cops once again. We've called the cops on this guy like 4 times, but this is like overstepping a bit what he did here. And so my dad calls the cops, and the cops come down, and we give the cops the full story, the report, everything that's happened. And like I said in the beginning of the video, because the whole COVID-19 thing, the cops can't enter the house. I'm not sure if I said that in the beginning of the video or if that's something I cut out, but because of whole COVID-19 thing, the police department here cannot enter a house unless the person inside allows them in. So the cops, bang on the door, and he doesn't answer, and it turns out he closed his blinds, he closed his curtains, the cops can't even look in. And he had locked the front door, and he had locked the back door. Pretty soon, 2 other cop cars come, and instead of just 1 cop, there's 4 cops now, 4 or 5 cops. And they're trying to get into the house, he's refusing to answer, and there's nothing they can do. So, we're told that if anything else like this happens, we call them, and the lady's been informed of this. And, that was the end of it, really. I hope y'all enjoyed the story. Do pray for us. We're having to deal with this neighbor, and we have to go out every time we let the dogs out. And, yeah. Hope you liked it. Bye.